After almost 5 million views and hundreds of comments asking for this recipe, here it is: carrot cake, cheesecake, and flan all in one cake. Because my mom asked me to combine her 3 favorite desserts into one cake, so I took inspiration from something I already know.
In Latin America, we have a cake called choco flan, where traditionally the bottom part, the cake part, goes with chocolate. So since my mom doesn't like chocolate, we're gonna swap that for carrot cake.
And for the flan, well, cheesecake and flan are already kind of cousins, so I'm taking some of the things I love about cheesecake and using them to make an extra creamy flan.
So let's start.
First things first, preheat your oven to 350. Now let's grease our bun pan. I'm using a non-stick one from Amazon, link below, and this is probably the most important step of the entire recipe, because wherever you miss greasing, that's exactly where your flan is going to stick.
Now let's do a caramel for the bottom of the pan, that whenever we flip it is going to be on the very top.
Because we can have flan without caramel. Add 3/4 cups of sugar to a saucepan and melt it over low heat. Now in culinary school, they taught me the rule was very simple: leave the sugar alone, no stirring, no mixing. But my cast stove, which is new, runs pretty hot, so I'm gently stirring to help everything melt evenly. Once the sugar is completely melted, remove it from the heat. Don't let it get too dark, because sugar retains heat and continues cooking even after it's removed from the stove. Now carefully pour the caramel into the bottom of the bun pan, and let's make our cheesecake flan next.
Okay, so now we're gonna go with the flan, and this is very easy. We're just gonna dump everything in the blender, and that's it.
And before anybody runs to the comments, no Juan, this is not a traditional flan, but we're trying to create a texture somewhere between a flan and a cheesecake. And for that, we'll need 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 can of condensed milk, 1 cup of milk, 1 package of cream cheese, 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla, and 5 eggs. Oh, and I almost forgot the water.
Once I cracked a bad egg directly into it, and ever since I crack them separately. And I also like to crack them in one of the cups that we use for the milk, so we don't have extra dishes by the end. And then I go here. But if you don't want to do this, you can skip this step. No bad eggs this time, so that's good. Okay, so now let's go blend.
These ingredients should be at room temperature. That helps everything blend more smoothly and reduces the amount of bubbles we create. Blend only until combined. Too much blending creates foam, and foam becomes bubbles. Some people don't mind bubbles in flan. I do. I love that perfect smooth texture, but it actually doesn't change anything as in flavor. Let's pass the mixture through a sieve and pour it into our caramel-lined bun pan. Cover with foil, and next comes the water bath.
Now we're gonna use a container that's oven safe, and we're gonna cook our flan in a bain-marie in a water bath. So now we're gonna put it here in that container, and we're gonna add some hot water, not boiling water, just hot.
You want the water to come about 1/3 of the way up the sides of the bun pan. Now coasters are mostly eggs. If we bake this directly in a 350-degree oven, the outside will cook much faster than the center. The water bath slows everything down and creates a gentler cooking environment, so the flan cooks evenly and stays silky instead of becoming grainy, kind of like an omelette. By the way, this is actually my first time making a flan in my new cast oven. So today we're testing both the recipe and the oven. So it's been about 50 minutes, so let's check it out. Moment of truth. This is exactly what we're looking for. Notice the flan is not fully cooked yet. That's intentional. If a flan were fully set now, it would overcook during the second bake when we add the carrot cake batter. So far, the flan's looking beautiful, and it means this oven can actually hold the stable temperature. Next, let's start getting ready the ingredients for the carrot cake. So let's toast some pecans. The oven's already at 350, so 7 to 8 minutes should do it. Let them cool down a little bit and chop them.
If you don't want to toast the pecans, that's totally fine. I like to do it because it intensifies the flavor, and it gives you more like a nuttier, earthier flavor compared to a raw pecan. I'm just gonna put them back in the pan. No need to get more dishes dirty.
Next, we're gonna grate our carrots and chop some drained pineapple. Yes, pineapple. Don't panic, your cake is not going to taste like pineapple. Carrots bring moisture to carrot cake, but they also lose a lot of water while baking. Pineapple adds additional moisture and natural sugars, helping the cake stay soft and moist for longer. Now let's brown some butter, but this is mainly for flavor. Oil is a fat of choice in most carrot cakes because it stays liquid even after the cake cools, helping the crumbs stay soft and moist for days. But oil also coats some of the flour proteins, limiting gluten development and keeping the texture tender instead of tough. So we're using the best of both worlds. Now let's mix our dry ingredients: flour, baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, cloves, and salt. Now give it a quick mix and let's talk about the sugars. This cake is gonna have both because, again, we want the best of both worlds. Brown sugar helps keep the cake soft and moist, and white sugar gives us structure and lift. Let's start building this cake, and let's add the oil to these sugars. Some vanilla as well, the brown butter, and let's start mixing. Let's add the eggs, and yes, you bet it, I'm adding one by one, because eventually one of them betrays you.
See what I was talking about? Finally, it's time to start mixing all of these ingredients so this cake starts taking shape. Smells so good already. Now we're gonna need a spatula, because if we do it with the whisk, everything's gonna stay inside of the whisk and we don't want that. So first, pineapple. Now the carrots. Nuts go in. I was gonna use a whisk. Now let's fold in. Should we add raisins? I think we should. You know, I love when cakes have all these different textures, and raisins would add a different layer of texture. Let me ask my mom. Mamá, ¿le echo pasas? She said yes. Get some raisins, pasas in. Well, that one didn't. Okay, dries go in. So we're just mixing until everything's integrated.
At this point, less mixing is better. Too much mixing develops gluten, which makes cakes tougher and chewier. We're after soft and tender, so mix just until combined.
Now, I don't recommend that you taste this raw. I can never give you that recommendation, but I still do it. It is really, really good. Now, let's see if this experiment is gonna fail or not.
Let's carefully pour the carrot cake batter over the partially baked flan. Don't fill the pan all the way, leave about 2 inches of space so the cake has room to expand. And you might be wondering, why am I so nervous if choco flan is already a proven dessert? The thing is, the carrot cake behaves very differently from the chocolate cake traditionally used in choco flan. It's heavier, denser, and much more moist. So that's why we partially bake the flan first to give it some structure before adding the carrot cake batter. At least in hypothesis, this should keep the 2 layers from becoming one giant mess. Now let's cover with foil and back into the water bath. Back into the oven, and now we wait.
Okay.
This cake took about 1 hour and 10 minutes in my oven. Every oven is different, so start checking around the 1 hour mark. And how are you gonna know it's ready? Well, insert a toothpick. You're looking for moist crumbs in that toothpick, not wet batter. Once baked, let the cake cool for 2 hours on the counter, then refrigerate for at least 2 more hours. Okay, now comes the most stressful part of this entire recipe, unmolding. Run a fork carefully around the edges or a knife and place your serving plate on top. Take a deep breath and flip. As you can see, it worked. It looks beautiful. And of course, before we cut it, we sang happy birthday and my mom cut the first piece. The one thing I didn't consider, and it turned out to be really good, is that all that caramel got soaked by the carrot cake. Look at that. This was just a 7 to 10 minute difference. Okay, so let me cut you a slice so you can see how this tastes and looks. Absolutely perfect. It's smooth, no bubbles, and it's exactly how it should be. A cross between a flan and a cheesecake. Look at that creaminess! Now look at how moist that carrot cake looks. This was a 10 out of 10. The most important part is that my mom loved it. She gave it 100 out of 10. So if you like this recipe, don't forget to follow for more.